Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the desk. I'm Ginny, your host for today, and joining me is once again Veteran and Izo. Jake's Kittens just walked away with the win on the first game so far. Pretty convincing performance, if I do say so myself. Izo, it kind of all started with that gank in the bot lane specifically. We have a replay available, so tell us what you think.
Yeah, so Aaron on the Kindred went for a fantastic timer on the bot gank. The wave was going to be bouncing back towards Jake's Kittens. The Caitlyn Yuumi want to get the wave out as fast as they can so that they can get a recall off, but Aaron is here. The sums were already burned in a previous bot fight for the Caitlyn, so it's just free kills for Aaron, and this spells doom for Ginger Turmeric. They do not have a really good answer into the Kindred.
Yeah, the momentum starts building. This is kind of where everything starts to snowball a little bit in favor of Jake's Kitten. Ginger's Turmeric didn't really have the response that was required to shut it down, to just keep them at bay, to play safe and scale. But then we see the fight happening towards the bot side of the map, Veteran, and everything just goes up in flames. Talk us through what happened there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, when you said just play safe, I just had the image of being told just play safe while four people are just diving me on the tower over and over again. But right here, this here instead was a really, really critical team fight that happened. The turnaround here basically defines the rest of the game. Previously, before this, you actually had Kill and Duo King being able to turn fights in their favor around topside, but here, the Kindred, there's just no displacement to control it, and Kindred's able to delay for so long that Porsche and Bioma on the back line are able to remain completely untouched. The delay that the Kindred was able to get there and the lack of control that AGT had to get, that AGT had against them, was very critical for allowing the rest of the team to eventually do enough damage to kill them. Bioma on this Zoe is a very, very crucial champion for him. He was known almost as a Zoe one-trick when he made his debut in the LCS, and you can see that he still has the talent to pull it off here. Even was able to give Captain Shrimps his first death of the entire tournament. So
yeah. The game specifically not looking too good on those KDAs for Ginger and Turmeric, but an incredible performance from Jake's Kitten. However, we kind of spoke about that overextension that we've seen happening in that last fight specifically, Veteran. But when we look at the couple of fights that were happening towards the top side of the map, the exact same thing was happening from Jake's Kitten. How do you think they had that opportunity to just reel it in and actually make sure that they stopped doing what they were doing?
I mean, there was a particular mid-game spike where after Yuumi hits one item, it's actually quite easy for her to extend these fights and to create a lot of like fake damage on the side of the enemy team that can often bait them to quite awkward situation. It actually has very good synergy with the Xerath and with the Lilia and even with the Scion later on in the game. But then once Anti-Heal came out, that was pretty much all for naught. That's the issue with Yuumi Soraka that Sona doesn't necessarily have. It's much harder to itemize against Sona later on in the game, and it makes her a much harder scaler, and she has so much more utility than just healing one person at one time. It's not just this. This is one of the easiest champions to dive. And Caitlyn is a champion that really needs to be able to play with map tempo and with map pressure. So if you pair her with something as weak as Yuumi, and Caitlyn's not able to play for those towers and play ahead of the enemy team constantly, she'll enter a trough later on in the game. And they tried to make up for that with a sustain-heavy build on her, but because they already had Yuumi, it was basically just one item counter against their entire game plan.
Yeah, and Izo, that Yuumi pick not really working out in favor for Ginger Turmeric. You mentioned it yourself and said that you weren't too happy with that pick. You were expecting maybe a Sona to be thrown in the mix. If anything, Sona wasn't banned. That also was a potential pick that they could have gone for, decided not to do so. Are you expecting them to maybe lay hands off of that Yuumi this time around? Do you think the Sona might be coming through?
I don't think that the problem is necessarily with Yuumi as a champion. The draft just did not really fit for Yuumi. When you have Caitlyn, she really needs to stay ahead in the lane phase. Israel Karma's a very short lane, isn't going to keep pressure in the bot lane for the Caitlyn. And when they fell behind to the Ginger gank, it's really hard for Caitlyn to play. And Ginger Turmeric only really had one real Yuumi carrier in the Lilia. It just felt a little disconnected from the rest of their draft. I would have preferred to see the Sona. It's more of a team-wide healer as opposed to funneling one character to be the real carry, and I think that Lilia just could not like have the solo carry potential against so many range characters.
Is there any player specifically from the previous game that you think now that we're heading into game number 2 we really need to be looking out for and just keep our eyes peeled?
I mean,
I think if their answer into AOE is Xerath and you're getting killed with R5 Xerath, it's kind of not the look that you want to be having if that's what you're saving your R5 for.
Yeah.
I will say it's very difficult for a mid laner to find trades in a situation where their bot lane is proving that Cants can indeed jump 6 times by throwing 6 times faster than I've seen any other team do. If they're able to make up for the pressure that Air1, who we discussed beforehand, was able to give to bot lane and able to punish the fact that they like to just have free scaling, if they find a counter to that, then I think Captain Shrimp can play what he wants. But we haven't really seen that from GeoKing so far, outside of arguably the Soraka. So I want to see a change up on bot there, and if it's not going to be bot lane picks, then we need to see bigger matches. Maybe now is when you bring out these high mobility picks that Captain Shrimp's known for, the heavy roaming, Doinby cosplay, Singe mid picks where he can abandon mid and help out his bot lane and get them into that later stage.
I love the throwing in of the Singed mid pick potentially being picked up, but definitely the draft, something that hasn't worked out for Ginger Turmeric last game around. We're going to be heading into game number 2 shortly, so that's something that we hope that they're going to be focusing on if we want to see, Veteran get his prediction right so far. I'm sitting pretty comfortably here this evening, but we got our casters once again, Grapes and Smacks. They've been doing an incredible job at covering these games this evening. They'll be covering the next one as well. Guys, do your thing.
Thank you very much, Janiro. It's just great to be here. It's School Spirit Day, sort of Smacks. I know you have some other stuff with school going on later as well.
Yeah.
Might have to. Maybe you're hoping for a quick series so you can get to bed early.
Maybe. I do need to wake up early tomorrow to get to the airport. But speaking of collegiate games, GVU is the other school team that I really like. Michigan State, of course.
You're talking to the
Lansing.
GVU guy here as well, I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. But GVU, Aaron won earlier today on CLG Faith. And right now, if you look over on the Path to LCS stream, Supernova is doing pretty well in their second game. They won the first game. A win, then I think that counts as GVU winning today because they have Meslo and Pluto. So
and then listen to this. Colthrow, manager for DK Crew, comes in and wins tomorrow against Cincinnati Fear as well. That is a full GVU victory right here. Frank Kuru, unfortunately, did not end up making the top 16 on Team Ambition, but it's all right. He's still there supporting in the chat. And yeah, just another unified specialty here in the Midwest Esports Conference, Grandview University, getting pretty good representation. And I think that's kind of a trend for a lot of the amateur teams that are here this summer, Smacks.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of collegiate teams playing tomorrow as well. So if you're a collegiate fan and you can't wait until the CLOL weekend, don't worry, because we do have some games tomorrow. We got Maryville playing, we got Team Pending, which has the UST core, and also speaking of UST, we have Porsche playing right now. For Jake's Kittens, so that's pretty exciting.
What I'm a little bit confused about is I think we saw some stuff on social media with like Maryville. They were flying today. I think a lot of the teams are flying out to LA today. Porsche is somehow playing as well as traveling on the same. I don't know how. Maybe the airplane Wi-Fi working pretty good right now for him in the side of UST as they took game number 1 in a very convincing fashion over the likes of AOE Turmeric.
Maybe that explains the CS gap. Because he was down like 50 CS to existence in that lane.
Too high.
Yeah, the ping is just a little bit. He can still land his cyclones. Wukong's not that hard, but CSing it's a timing thing. You got to give him some slack. I remember me and Sierra Dawn, previous host of the show, friend of the broadcast, were playing Wild Rift using airport Wi-Fi one time.
Oh man,
it was really not it.
It's like if it sounds so good in theory, it's like I could play League in the airport, but then you have like such an awful experience, and you're just like I never want to play this game ever again.
she was brave enough to do it on the plane, and so the highest ping you can see in that game is 999, and it never went under 999. We don't actually know what the number was, but she did play a game of Wild Rift on a plane. So shout out to Sierra, much braver than I. I didn't want to get into that.
Maybe Porsche might be doing a little bit better than Sierra was doing on the airplane, if they are ending up traveling here. Either way, it looked like a very dominant victory for Jake's Kittens. On the other side, it's the first time we saw Ginger Turmeric really get challenged, and I think a lot of that comes down to how they were playing around the bot lane, Smack.
And now that they are on blue side, it kind of feels like that could be something that they go for a bit more heavily, where they play around this bottom lane and really try to make sure they don't lose out too heavily. We're expecting that Jake's Kittens are going to go for a top side counter pick, because that's typically what we've seen when the teams move over to that red side. We've seen some mess around with like the Wukong and the Lilia flexes from AOE Ginger Turmeric. Even earlier today, we saw some really cool counter picks from CLG Faith also. But for Porsche, you know, he may be flying around. He may be having some other stuff going on, including, but not limited to, scrimming with his Collegiate team on 12.9, which might be impacting the gameplay a little bit.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. That's a pretty big thing. We're going to talk about that more tomorrow, I'm sure, with all the other Collegiate players. But definitely something for Porsche in this series to keep in mind. That doesn't stop him from wanting a counter pick, I feel.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Of course, you know, the Wukong into the Sion, it was a pretty good matchup for Porsche in terms of the fighting. Maybe fell a little bit behind in CS, but now on red side, you do get the opportunity for more counter picks to come through. Doesn't seem like the bans are changing for Jake, despite being on a different side of the Rift. It will still be that Rumble and the Senna taken away. I know Veteran keeps alluding to it, but man, I just really want to see that Singe mid for Captain Chips. Can we please can we summon that right now?
It doesn't really feel like something that AOE Ginger Turmeric have felt comfortable.
It's a very different play style from what they've been going with. Yeah,
exactly. But maybe that's another thing they've been practicing. Maybe the Singed mid could come out. I remember in the interview I did with Keel, I tried to get him to reveal the strategy for Singed mid, but he was very coy about it. He was, you know, keeping it close to his chest. I can respect that. It was disappointing. But
now, as we head into the first ban pick phase here, the one difference in terms of all the bans that went across the board was actually Karma for Prismal. So Ezreal's still on the board, the Kindred for Aeron's still on the board if given the right opportunity. Gangplank actually banned on the red side again just because of how highly both these top laners prioritize that Gangplank, but now AGT being on that blue side are going to lock in that Wukong.
This is really interesting because Aaron, he hasn't played the Lilia yet. It could be something that he's comfortable on, but it's just not something that we've gotten the chance to see. It feels like a champion that is relatively similar to Wukong in a lot of ways in the way that it sets up team fights. But that's not Lilia. If Aaron is going to be locking this one in, okay, I get it. You know what? Hold on. I get it, Grapes, because ooh dear is what we're going to say right now that Lilia's locked in.
Oh dear.
Ooh dear.
Man, that is... they're just playing with our minds right now. So many puns. There's just so much opportunity here. The oh dear has been locked in, and that is the Lilia here. Potentially for Aaron. I wouldn't say Porsche has played this Lilia before, but hold on. We gotta take a step back here a little bit because that's a Tristana lock-in. We're talking about the flex picks. This is another one of them.
Super interesting. I'm honestly expecting this one to go to Ryoma just off of just the first impression here. It feels like more his speed, but with the Lilia, I can understand why you would want to do that because you have the magic damage from the jungler, and you want to have some more physical damage in the rest of your team. We've seen that from Ryoma in a lot of other picks, namely the Lucian has been a really big one from him in the past. That's banned. And it's also something that Scooped really likes. So if they're going to get Lucian, you have to imagine that it's going to go for Scooped with Prismal's Nami, but they don't have that one. And instead, I'm thinking that this is Ryoma playing the Drist.
Yeah, I feel like that would make a lot of sense. Ryoma, a player that has a whole lot of champions in his pool. I am actually interested in what happened on the other side of that draft here for AGT, because they did not lock the Caitlyn in on that first rotation. It looks like they're kind of deviating from their playstyle just a little bit here. Duo King on an engaged support in the Nautilus, and Keel locking in that Gwen, another potential for some flexibility.
Looking like a a counter pick set here for Porsche up in the top lane, responding to the Gwen. could be Gwen jungle, Wukong top, but we're expecting it's going to be the Gwen up in the top lane for Existence. His really big signature champion, apart from a lot of the tanks that we see from Existence. He has a lot of comfort on this one. I remember a bunch of games in the last split for Ginger Turmeric where he was piloting this one and making it look so silly. Not quite as silly as what we saw from Faisal. That game is still
the Gwen is
fresh
immune
in my
counter
mind.
in the little replay video that we had.
Probably fresh in Ginger Turmeric's mind also, as they,
They
were
were
the
playing
ones
against
who were
it,
playing
yeah.
against that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But yeah, good champion for Existence for sure.
I agree. I would agree 100%. And I do think that it is already a very different playstyle here for Ginger Turmeric. Again, first time they've been challenged here by the likes of Jake's Kittens. Looks like Argentum and the rest of the crew looking to try and spice things up a little bit more as we head into the second ban phase. No Caitlyn ban on this phase as well because, you know, the Nautilus is already locked in. So you want to try to take away some picks that synergize a little bit better with that lock for duo Selena. So the Kai'Sa, Xayah taking off the board as well as that Leona against Prismal.
Yeah, the Leona is really interesting. I feel like we've kind of just forgotten who the supports are in this game for a little moment with the Nautilus lock-in and then the Leona ban.
Oh.
Both of these players have only played Enchanters in the group stage up until this point, so this is maybe gearing up to be a very different look for both supports. Already for Duo Selena, it definitely is. And to quote my good friend Cubby, any team that is picking Nautilus right now is very questionable. It's not a very good champion in his eyes, you know. Cubby's a Braum lover, so
True.
he's of course
that
gonna hate
champion,
Nautilus.
that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good into Nautilus. There were not another decent response as well to just kind of counter a lot of the engage that Ginger Turmeric have already brought to the table. Interestingly enough, though, AGT actually banning away the Aurelia, so they are still anticipating maybe some flexibility between this Tristana for Ryoma or for Scoop. We see what Ginger Turmeric try to respond with here. It'll be a Jhin for Deep Learning, so a very, very heavy engaged bot lane, as well as that Xerath once again coming out from Captain Shrimps.
Still a lot of range for AoE Ginger Turmeric, and this is the pick that I was expecting Deep Learning to be on top of, like, from the very beginning. It feels like this is a good meta for the Jhin, as you have just so much utility for the rest of your team, and that range really does fit in with what Captain Shrimps has been bringing to the table recently also. So I really like this look from Deep Learning. I think this is probably going to be a better game than all the other Caitlyn ones. I don't think Caitlyn, with how he's playing it, has been doing super, super well. It is indeed going to be Scoop's Tristana, though, so I was wrong there. Ari will be the lock-in for round.
I feel like Tristana has like not a terrible matchup into the Xerath either. You can kind of jump on top of him and try to do a lot of burst damage. I think Ryoma on the Ari does a very similar thing. You can dash away from a lot of the skill shots that end up coming through with that Spirit Rush. So either way, things are looking pretty good. But I think the one thing here that we've kind of garnered from this draft in the second game smacks is that bot lane again can be the focus, but this time it's going to be all about the heavy engage and the complete all-ins that these bot laners are able to provide.
Scooped on Tristana is taking me back here, Grapes. It's taking me back to last year when we saw the debut of Scooped in the Revival team. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. That was a long time ago in terms of amateur. They did pretty good. I was a big fan of Scooped back then.
They got second in league that will not be named. They played with Flux in that lane. Cyber was playing jungle. It was a fun time.
Yeah. I believe as well. There's a lot of good players on that team, and I think for Scooped on the Tristana, it was a pick that was again very prevalent throughout 2021. Maybe now not as popular, but into the Jhin, you know, could be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah. Picked it super early too, which again tells me that this is a flex pick for this team and something that we will be able to watch them play in the future too, but as of right now, it is going to be for Scooped, and he's taking the Hail of Blades also, just to get that explosive charge off with as much damage as possible. And the other big thing that happens there is if you do fully apply the entire explosive charge, then it does reset your jump. So that's a nice tech with the Hail of Blades.
And, you know, just in case you were expecting, you know, not a lot of fighting to happen down in the bot lane for this game. I mean, that's just the confirmation right there. The icing on top of the cake as we've loaded onto for game number 2. Jake's Kittens looking to close out their sweep and earn themselves a spot in the top 8 of PGC Q2. 1.
We've had quite a few 2-0s, the two of us, Grapes.
Yes, we have.
Quite a few 2-0s today also, as I do believe the other series did end.
Oh,
path to
Supernova 2-0.
LCS. That is a Supernova 2-0. Double 2-0 on the other stream. It's going to have to be Jake's Kittens winning this game if that happens on this stream also. A lot of very dominant wins. A lot of slow ones on this stream, but still a very fun time to be had by all Proving Grounds fans.
I was just about to say, it was funny that that stream already ended and we're just getting into our 4th game.
Yeah.
This kind of shows how close even some of these 2-0s really are. As starting off here in the bottom side, some early cheeky poke coming out from Prismal against Max. This is a point you've been touching on time and time again. This double range bot lane here for Jake's, and we see Aaron starting on the top side of the map.
Again, the junglers are clearing toward bottom lane, but this time, Grapes, a bit different because it's both junglers. We've had a lot of games today where they were mirroring clears on other opposite sides, but now it looks like both junglers are going to converge down there. This is an adjustment that I did want to see from Keel specifically, as it's definitely something that Aaron has been no stranger to. He's done this in, I believe, all 4 of their group stage games up until this point. And now that Keel is matching it, I'm expecting some big fireworks once the junglers both arrive.
Yeah, not a lot of crowd control from either of those junglers, but I think the rest of the lanes can provide enough of it in just to sort of engage. Just the damage that needs to be done. But actually we see Keel not towards the bot lane, but towards the mid lane, looking to get in onto Ryoma early. Very high range that he can perform with that dash and already chunking Ryoma to an uncomfortable level of HP.
Using all of these potions, Captain Shrimp still keeping onto both of them that he's got for himself. So Ryoma, not feeling super cozy at this moment, will be forced back just a tad. Something that did happen to Captain Shrimps many, many times in the last game. So getting some revenge now.
Still farming here comfortably in the mid lane. Likely would want to like crash this wave before going for a reset and putting it in a good position. But it doesn't look like Shrimps is letting him do that right now. We might see a bit of an invade here, but take a look at the mid lane. The stun will land. Big damage at the sweet spot of the W. Captain Shrimps is working for a solo kill onto Ryoma. Finally, we'll have to flash him. Will the Arcane Plus land? It barely misses, and Shrimps takes another tower shot and nearly falls as well.
Great flash for
Oh,
Scoop is in
here
there,
comes
he's
Scoop. He
flashing
goes in
on
with it.
top!
Explosive charge. Will it do enough? Tick, 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 tick. Boom! Not enough, but Prismal flashes forward. First blood for the Renata Glass.
Oh, wow. Scooped and Prismal, they were looking for a jungler, but instead they found Captain Blue, Captain Shrimps in the mid lane. Aaron, he's hooked.
The hook, yeah. Aaron in a bit of trouble. There comes the Deadly Flourish. It will be flashed away from beautiful Blast Cone coming out from Aaron as well to keep himself alive.
I don't even think he was the one that hit that. I think he just
was
flashed out and it's somebody else hit it.
A little bit of an oopsie there maybe from the bot lane.
That was pretty awesome. Aaron gets to escape. That's a lot of flashes used from Jake's Kittens. Is that they have just
4.
about none of them at this point.
Just
Yeah.
flourish. really good
man.
stuff. You know, Ginger Turmeric, they didn't end up getting a kill there. They got very, very close to doing so. But that's just kind of the rotation strength that, you know, Jake's Kittens is able to provide. Scoop and Prismal getting to mid lane first, allowing them to finish that kill up onto Captain Shrimps while he was unable to do so onto Ryoma. And that's kind of the advantages that have been getting Jake's Kittens the early lead so far in this game.
We saw as well that while AoE Ginger Turmeric, they didn't get any of those kills. They did try to crash that wave in the bottom lane, but Scoop and Prismal, they got there in time, and they don't actually miss a beat in that lane, even though they roamed up into the enemy team's jungle and then flashed to find a kill mid. They're still keeping up in CS and even have a lead in that regard too. This duo has just been so impressive in this group stage already, and they've got so many new players on this squad, so many young players more importantly, and I'm just super excited for what this means for the entire space, because Scooped and Aaron, they've been super impressive. Prismal is looking amazing on the role swap. Might mean a lot for the scope of support in NA in the future also, as we got a lot of role swap supports in that role, it feels like.
A lot of them. We saw one last game as well with 13. And now Ryoma might be in a bit of trouble as well. Doesn't have the flash again, but Keel gets slowed up by this World Seed, so won't be able to chase down that Ahri and finish off the kill. Still, you know, early aggression coming out from Keel is a good thing to see. Ginger Turmeric trying to make the plays work.
And they really needed that one to work onto Ryoma right then because he was still level 5. Now he's level 6, and you're really never going to kill an Ahri at this point. In that lane, you don't have enough crowd control unless she somehow gets hit by the Xerath stun. But I don't see that happening anytime soon with that Spirit Rush available. now the lane is all of a sudden super, super volatile for Captain Shrimps. That's why he has this cleanse, but he still is going to take a lot of damage if he ever comes into a tussle with Ryoma, and that's, again, one of the reasons why Jake's Kittens have all of this time and all this effort they can use to take away this Drake.
Yep, another dragon. I believe they have a 100% dragon rate at this point. Now bot lane,
You're right.
more trading here. Force shot does land out of Prismal. Chunked down rather low, but won't be too upset about that. Scoop is going to be able to get the rest of this wave pushed in, as nobody on AGT really seemed to be in position to try to punish.
Oh, I
Charm.
see this going very
Nice stun.
poorly.
Okay. Captain Shrimps is alive, and now here comes the collapse.
Ooh.
Existence coming in with the needlework. Keel, not level 6 just yet, but it's enough damage to finish the job. That is Captain Shrimps getting on the board for AGT.
That, my friends, is why all casters should look at the minimap more. Because if I knew that Existence was coming, I would not
been a
have
good
thought
play.
that it was as bad. Really nice rotation there from Existence, evening up the kills 1-to-1 all of a sudden. And yeah, I was entirely wrong. The last 2 minutes I was saying, yeah, Ryoma, he's level 6, you can't kill him. Yeah, no, I'm just wrong.
When you use two of your three dashes to go forward, and then there's 3 members trying to collapse, makes the, escapability of the Ahri a little bit harder to kind of implement. And so that was Ryoma maybe going a little bit too aggressive, not being aware of Existence and Keel being in the area. But I don't think it'll be all too bad, all things considered. Still pretty even in CS. Doesn't have that Lost Chapter picked up just yet, while Captain Shrimps does. So a slight item advantage in favor of Ginger Turmeric for the time being. But the gold, all of a sudden, very, very close. We're dead even at 8 minutes.
I appreciate you defending my analysis.
Yeah, I got you.
That's what caster pairs are for. You know?
Yeah. Got your back. We might be disagreeing on who we think was winning this series, but there's a reason that you're up here. Very, very smart. Person.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, as of right now, I'm feeling slightly smarter in terms of the prediction because Jake's Kittens is up that one game. They are one win away from making me slightly smarter on the day. That's nice.
We'll take the lead by a pretty wide margin over me in the predictions, I believe. But AGT have to, lose first, and it looks like they don't want to do that just yet. Aaron gonna get caught out. Here comes the re-engage from Keel. Whole lot of damage, and that is still Keel going to fall. Aaron somehow survives through the Renata W, and now the trade will go in favor of Jake's Kittens. Duoselina trying to lock down Ryoma, but Scoop's going to flash forward, trying to get the reset. Spirit Rush comes in, and that is Duoselina falling. Captain Shrimps is unable to pick up a single kill as Jake's Kittens go 2 for 0 around the Herald.
Ooh. Oh, Ryoma was so close to finding Deep Learning there. That's a lot of damage on top of Prismal.
Prismal's low. Porsche and the rest of Jake's is doing a good job to keep the rest of AGT away from the Rift Herald. Aaron finally picks it up, but now the needlework will start to come out. Porsche maybe looking for a re-engage, won't go for it, and instead will just be Jake's Kittens walking out with the advantage for now. Charm barely missing onto Captain Shrimps. The poke is landing, the fight keeps continuing, Smacks, but right now Jake's Kittens getting the better of it.
Rift Herald 2 there for Aaron, scooping that one up for his team. It feels like he's always just ready and willing to take these objectives every single moment. I love the way that Jake's Kittens plays around those, and this has been no exception. All these resets, you can tell just how valuable these resets are for the squad, because when the kills come through, a bunch of different things happen. Firstly, the bailout makes sure that Aaron survives. But Ryoma also gets a charge of Spirit Rush, and Scooped gets to go for another jump, as we're seeing that happen again and again in these team fights. That's going to continue to be the case unless AOE Ginger Turmeric can actually deny these kills in the next skirmishes.
Yeah, it's about finding the quick kills, and you have a lot of hard engage to do it. It's just that, the rest of Jake's Kittens can respond very well to the hard engage that Ginger Turmeric can provide. You have the Lily asleep, the Renata to kind of reset and give you a little bit more time to stay alive. Things are looking pretty good for Jake's right now. They're going to pick up the Rift Herald, now finding themselves up about 1,000 gold. You can see that on the left side of your screen. Aaron, Ryoma, and Scooped all very far ahead.
They are doing a great job again in this game. Aaron, I absolutely am ready for him to just be one of the best junglers in the league.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it. I definitely did not have this happening at all, but I think it is. And he, like I keep saying, he's going for a very similar strategy every single game, but getting into this environment with these huge seasoned veterans in Ryoma and Prismal, and just having this winning environment where his strategies are working every single game is so good for player development. It's something that we've seen replicated all of the time in the NA ladder, and a lot of other places as well, I'm sure, in the rest of the world.
Yeah, this is a pipeline to pro. This is how you kind of get your name out there, how to make your presence known. And right now, Aaron is definitely doing that. As you might see him again making a return to the bot lane alongside of Ryoma. Prismo throwing out the hostile takeover, landing it in on the deep learning. But it looks like Duasalina is going to try to fight in with the counter engage. Prismo pretty low. Scoop chunked out, and the Ignite alongside the Curtain Call will make it a 1-for-1 for now. Shrimps is in the area as well. Deadly Flourish will land onto Ryoma, but not enough chase for the rest of AGT to respond.
1-for-1 there. There is still Lilting Lullaby. I don't think AOE Ginger Turmeric wants to engage, but we are seeing something for them, and that is the range advantage. They can kill you from so many screens away with the Xerath and the Jhin ultimates in conjunction. And, you know, once Captain Shrimps hits level 11, Jin's going to be really happy, because then he also shoots 4 missiles.
And then when he's
Until
level
he hits
16,
level 16,
then he'll be a little bit unhappy.
And
I
they're
do
not
find it
friends
funny
anymore.
that Deep Learning went for the Caitlyn, a champion who can, you know, fire a lot of damage from really far away with the ulti, to Jhin, another champion that can fire really far away with the ulti. It seems to be the sort of style that Ginger Turmeric have gone for so far in these past 2 series that they've played. Not the Caitlyn this time. I think the Jhin also working pretty well right now for them, but they have some time and they have a lot more work to do to get themselves back into this game.
Yes, range is very trendy for AOE Ginger Turmeric. It is the it fashion trend.
It's like the ginger turmeric shots that are going around, like for your health. Is that what the name is?
Is that?
I think it's a health thing.
Maybe.
I don't know exactly what it does.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It sounds like a very strange list of ingredients that combine itself together. It sounds very strong in flavor. I feel like I wouldn't want to, you know, consume the 2 of those raw at the same time.
What is Prismal doing?
Well, you were talking about the Nami clear the Raptors last week. Looks like he's trying to follow suit a little bit.
You know, I guess he's just leashing it for Aaron.
Yeah.
He's just taking the enemy.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right.
Again.
This is definitely something that I do all the time. A surprise.
It's the carry mindset. Yeah.
This is a camp that is up. Somebody come kill. You know what? You're 100% right. He did this on Nami. I should know.
Shrimps doing a lot of damage to Ryoma here, and here comes this World Seed as well. The turnaround for Jakes might be here. The hostile takeover is far away, but will it land? The Berserk connecting onto Shrimps. A lot of damage from downtown, but here comes Keel. Massive Cyclone. That's the first casualty of the fight as Prismo falls. Aaron still very low as well. Here comes the right of the Arcane. Ryoma still alive, but Aaron will drop at the 3rd shot as Captain Shrimps makes it 4-for-4 for AGT.
Wow, and Aaron does fumble it just a tad right there. He tries to go for this play onto Captain Shrimps, who, by the way, does still have cleanse this entire time. He had it, but he's just baiting them in. He's like, all right, yeah, you're sleeping me? Okay, let's see what you can do. I got my whole team. I got my shooters here. You better run.
And yeah, they came in. Keel, fantastic ulti, and that's 2 kills for AGT. They're getting the gold into the right places as well. Captain Shrimps will be able to do so much damage with the amount of gold that he's able to get, as well as, you know, getting some stuff into Keel. Be a really, really strong front line for this AGT squad. And again, the gold's still in Jake's Kitten's favor, but it's not by a whole lot. They're even in Dragons at this point, and we saw how well they could fight when they have the range advantage in the late game last week. So all things considered, AGT looking pretty good, and if they want to have that game 3 to stay alive in this upper bracket, they're going to have to continue this trajectory.
Something that they really need to keep an eye on, though, is that siege potential that we usually see from their compositions. Jhin, not quite as good as Caitlyn in that regard, and we're kind of seeing that reflected in this game again. They did have a lot of attention in that bottom lane, but Deep Learning hasn't really been able to touch a turret this entire time, and Scooped much the opposite, was able to take first turret in the bottom lane and now half HP on the top lane turret. And we know that wasn't Porsche because we can see that he is not having a great time against Gwen. I don't think anyone really does, but Porsche certainly is feeling that champion's
and I think
balance.
This is a big shout out to Existence as well, right? Because Porsche got counter matchup in both games that he ended up going for. Got the Wukong into the Scion, now had to set into either the Gwen or the Wukong, depending on the flexibility. Existence has been able to get pretty significant CS advantages against what many consider to be a very strong weak side player on the side of Jake's Kittens in Porsche. And so I know there were a lot of questions maybe about the top side maybe not being as interesting, but right now Existence getting the better hand of the 1v1.
He's still doing that right now. He's getting so much gold that he's forcing Porsche to TP over to that side of the map. Really impressive stuff. His Existence does still retain his. That's going to be a pretty big advantage later on as Jake's Kittens, well, they see all this gold that Existence is getting and they say, hey, let's go on the exact opposite side of the map. Drop Herald, take some more turrets.
Looks like they're going to get another proc on this Shelly as well, but AGT looking to try to punish here, landing that depth charge in onto Aaron, does so much damage, and there's the Xerath again! Doesn't matter where Shrimp says, he will always deliver the damage here in these fights. Now 2-1-3, 100% kill participation. That's the power of this global composition that AGT provide.
Aaron should have taken the Portal Express. It's like what we're seeing right there. Pretty
Maybe.
well
Yeah.
for the rest of the team. Wow. I love Hextech portals. They're too fun. As I don't think AOE Ginger Turmeric are liking them too much. They've got to learn to use them themselves. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Crepes, I just realized Duo Selena does actually have his team tag now. Look at that.
Was it not there last time around? I don't remember.
No, remember he didn't have AGT on his name. Got it now though.
Very, very nice. Hex Rift is an observer's favorite rift. I hope Ebrom and Luigi are enjoying
Which observer?
the action that's going on. Yeah. Is it all two of you? Is it both of you? Is it Hyper as well?
Is it like
These are the
9
questions
out
you
of
have to
10
answer here.
observers agree that Hex Rift is
Ebrom.
good for your observer?
We see you out there, Ebrom. We're glad that we can deliver, even though it is completely out of our control. But there's, what, 2 Hextech Drakes that we had here in the 4 games so far?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
half.
it's 2 Hextech, 2 Cloud right now, I think, is the counter
Yep.
that we're at. So
Believe so.
Ebrom is half the time happy, half the time maybe not as happy. But
Yeah, how does Ebrom feel about Cloud Rift? I want to.
I don't know if-
Like,
I don't know if
what's
anyone
the
feels-
ranking there?
I
We
don't
we
know
hear a
if
lot of like caster rankings. Oh, he does not like it.
Did he? You responded by shaking the.
Okay,
Man, I
we have
love
a-
you, Ebrom. Oh my god.
We have a very direct no response. I like I was saying that we get caster tier lists for like everything all the time. I need the observer tier list on what is the best Drake to observe.
Well, it's not
I wanna-
Cloud.
this is-
Let's be.
Yeah, Cloud has got to be 5th, and Hextech is 1st, I guess, because he says it's his favorite.
Yeah.
Well, how does everything else fall?
I feel like we're trying to have a conversation with like a one-sided conversation where the observers can't really respond.
It's not Chem Drake.
All
Alright, so
what's
is-
Kendrick? I don't know what that is. Is that,
Oh yeah, I've never heard of that.
never heard of that.
You
18 and a
know,
half minutes in the game. Yes, continue.
yeah. We're seeing another turret destruction maneuver here for Scoop. I'm still getting a bit nervous because after what we saw Duo Selena Deep Learning and Shrimps do before, could get picked pretty easily.
They're continuing to engage. They're at the numbers advantage right now, but that's because Shrimps is just doing the damage from a mile away once more. Porsche getting locked in, and Deep Learning secures the first kill of the fight. Prisma with a
the
massive
berserk.
berserk. It lands onto all 5 members, but it will not mean a thing. Curtain call opened up. Aaron now having to run for the hills. Going to get locked in by that 3rd shot, and the 4th will go just wide, but it's not going to matter at all as kill will lock down the next kill.
Yeah, Jake's Kittens, they're still getting picked off in these side lanes. They're going for all of these turrets all at once, but they just can't get it. And actually, was Scooped on that ward? I feel like he might die.
Oh.
Okay, no, the ward didn't see him. I was really close.
He was walking right there, and we couldn't see it because of the camera was down on Existence taking the bottom
Yeah,
tower.
yeah.
So we weren't sure if they saw it, but it looks like
Getting
Scoop
nervous.
will survive for just a little bit longer. But hey, look at this, Max. Here we drink Turmeric. They're taking the gold lead right now. They have the tower
Yeah.
in the mid lane, tower in the bot lane. Tides are starting to turn, baby.
They're getting a lot of these picks, a lot of these sieges down finally, and a lot of that, again, is because Captain Shrimps is playing this Xerath. It's so unpredictable. Like, this is the only player in the entire, like, NA system, except for Serenok, who plays
Shout out Serenok as
the Xerath. Yeah, shout out Serenok. Love that guy. Definitely follow his Twitter and TikTok if you like
You like
good-looking, muscly gym bros.
exercise.
He's got a lot of those.
Very
Yeah.
good at exercise. We'll try to
He's on
flex
the
his
grind
muscles
on
a little
the
bit
rifts
this
and in the
weekend as
gym.
well. Potentially.
Yeah,
question mark.
exactly.
Got UCI coming up.
Mm.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You
coming
know,
up from
yeah,
Serenok.
if anyone's going to CLAW and you need a gym buddy, I'm sure Serenok would go with you. We need the Serenok Kangas content. I think.
Yes. Collimer as well, hopping in there maybe.
Yeah, you got Collimer. I'm sure it'd be a fun time.
Looking good right now. Good looks for both Serenok as well as Ginger Turmeric. Now finding themselves with the lead for the first time this series of 4 kills, 2 dragons. Got the gold in their favor slightly as well. Take a look at the itemizations right now. 1.5 items for seemingly everybody on this Ginger Turmeric side. Once that gets up to that second item for all these members, things really start to unfold, and I think a lot of that might start to happen around this dragon spawning about 75 seconds.
We'll see that one come to fruition. AOE Ginger Turmeric do already have 2 of those Drakes, and that's something that was not easily attained in the last series, or the last game, I should say, as Jake's Kittens did just have a 4-0 sweep in that regard. AOE Ginger Turmeric, all of a sudden, now that it's Hextech Rift, they might be able to get a really big advantage in that as well. And you're talking about second items. Captain Shrimps has a Horizon focus. This is just so much poke damage from Xerath. He's already doing a million damage. If we were looking at like the damage charts, I'm sure he's like way above everybody right now.
It's also really funny because like we see Captain Shrimps like not even getting close to a team fight. He just throws out the ulti, and that's basically all that he provides. And this kind of hones in on that playstyle a little bit more. He's just does not want to get close to anybody. He wants to just make sure he's very far away, getting that extra damage with the Rite of the Arcanes coming through. And right now, working pretty well here for AGT. Down to the bottom lane though, Existence might be in a bit of trouble here. Gwen is immune from that, but now with the charm, maybe dodged away from. Beautifully timed by Ryoma, buying so much time. But now Captain Shrimps trying to make the turn here. Ryoma gonna flash forward, finally pick up that shutdown as Porch survives as well.
Oh, moving over to the Baron also. Scooped, Aaron, and Prismal are here. Duo Selena scouts it out, and even though Captain Shrimps is very, very long range, he's not quite in range, but it doesn't quite matter, because he's been able to push out that wave. I like the quick decision making there from Jake's Kittens, though. That could have maybe worked out. They'll lose the... Wait. Okay.
They lose the dragon.
Yeah,
Deep Learning's got it.
He like smited it and then left? I don't know.
No, Ryoma might have overstayed his welcome a little bit. Yeah, going for the engage. Keel does have the cycle as well as the flash. Ryoma, no ulti, which means no escape alongside the flash. Not even going to try to do anything. They're just going to feed the kill right on over to Deep Learning. But now, Jake's Kittens are going to pull the trigger onto the Baron Nashor once more. Scoop does a lot of damage. Watch the teleport coming in from Existence. Him and Duo Selena are going to have to do the work to try and stall out the objective. Big depth charge coming out. Prismal chunked down pretty low, but the Berserk does a lot of damage as well. Baron finally secured here by the likes of Aaron. And now AGT looking to try and chase down the Kittens as they will try to run away. Ooh. And there's a beautiful sleep coming out from Aaron to keep the team alive for now.
Oh, but there's so much range here. Captain Shrimps' ultimate is almost up. There it is. It's here. They just need vision.
Flash. Oh, not enough range just yet. Comes the Arcana Pulse. Like a little bit. Prismal doesn't have the W, I believe, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for it. Okay, here's one shot. 2 shots. 3 shots. 4th. No! It barely misses. Prismal lives.
Wow. That's tier 2 boots only for Prismal. He had flash, but he didn't even beat it. He only got hit by one of them. Wow.
I mean, we were talking about clicking well. You know, on support, maybe don't have to click as often as, you know, an ADC, but Prismal has the opportunity to show off a little bit of how well he can dodge those skill shots.
I mean, we know he's good at clicking from all of his time playing AD carry in Academy also. We know this about Prismal, so that's one of the things that does translate well over to support directly from AD carry. You can
any player, any role will be good at that. Anyone will be happy with dodging the skill shots.
That's something that I really try to practice a lot in my own games, because in the wise words of Afromu, this is from like many, many years ago, in order to win lane as support, you need to walk up, dodge the enemy's hook, and then hit them for like 200 damage. And then you have won that exchange. You've won the next 20 seconds.
That is what I do, except I get hit by the enemy's hook, and then do 200 damage.
Oh yeah,
and then I die. And then we lose the game.
That's called losing.
There's a reason I'm not on the stage right now playing. I'm here talking about the game instead, because these guys are very good at what they do. And it looks like Jake's Kittens, now with the Baron and the Goldie once again, are once again in a position where they can try to take control.
Baron is one of those things that completely stops all siege compositions from working, because you just can't clear any of those minion waves. There's no way you can get near a turret, let alone like near a fight at all, because your main goal is not really champion combat. Your main goal is to pick somebody off and then attack a turret. That's something that AOE Ginger Turmeric have done a very nice job of up until this point, but they tunneled too hard on picking somebody in the bottom lane, and it left them on the exact opposite side of the rift to the Baron, which is where we find Jake's Kittens right now with a solid gold lead again, and they're getting all of these items into their pockets. Scoop now at 3 items on Tristana. It feels like he can completely one-shot anybody.
Yeah, this is probably the highest damage that you can get single target in terms of 3 itemization. 3 items here for an ADC. Yeah, nice outplay there by Prismal, making sure he doesn't go down. Just getting some nice vision in. We were talking about how Prismal, you know, going for some of the support, like solo, going the wards and sometimes getting punished for it. Looks like he's learning as the weeks go on.
I mean, face checking into that
You
brush
learn.
when there's a Wukong in there. That could have killed him pretty easily, but he's got the handshake
You know,
mechanics.
he's alive, so that means that he did the right thing. Isn't that right?
Yes. That's the results-based analysis that you
Yeah,
come to this stream for.
Actually, you know, Jake's Kittens, with that Baron buff, weren't able to do a whole lot. They only cracked open a couple of inner turrets. Mid lane outer still actually up for the taking. But now Scoop, with the 3 items, trying to push this wave in.
Oh.
Only 3 members for AGT here. And Jake's looking
Berserk.
for the siege, looking for the dive. Teleport coming in. Duaselina getting dragged straight in with that showstopper. And now Ryoma finishes off the kill. What can the range do? Scoop very low, has to flash away. The right of the arcane. And the shielding. It will keep Scoop alive as the Tristana barely survives. Jake's Kittens get out by taking 1.
No way Scooped lives that. He's still alive. He still has all of this damage on the squad, but Rapes, it's the Drake that AOE
Yeah.
and Turmeric are really after, and
And
Forge.
this could be
Oh,
big
he's spotted.
for the soul. Is Hextech's soul point here for AOE Ginger Turmeric. They're gonna try to lock down Porsche. Has enough healing, has the face breaker as well. And it looks like it's enough sustainability to keep himself alive. He has a teleport, he'll go back to base. Hextech soul spawning in 15 seconds.
Duaselina has the portals to get on over there. Also, there's no problem
Oh,
about the
Scoop.
death timers. This could be a problem. All right, we're good.
If he had the Gale Force there instead of the Kraken, might have been a kill. Now Prismal
Oh,
in a lot of trouble as well. Has a W on him, so he will revive. What can Jake's Kittens do? The answer is not that much as Prismal falls with his casualty in the engage. Now Ryoma, Spirit rushing over, existence very low, but has a lot of healing. Not able to do much as he gets taken down before popping the needlework. Now, it is just the continuation of the engage as the TP from Porsche is absolutely beautiful. Keel and Shrimps have to try and keep this game alive, and it might not be able to do so. Porsche picking up the kill onto the Wukong. Only Shrimps remains as it's 4 for 1 for Jake's Kittens.
And just about everybody's wiped for AoE Ginger Turmeric. They don't even get the Drake. They're going to miss out on all of these structures. And it's just Captain Shrimps against the world right now. He has to make sure that his team doesn't just straight up lose the game. That's going to be the full inhibitor taken in the mid lane. Wave taken. I like that idea, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
It will be at least 2 inhibitors going down, I believe, unless Jake's Kittens wants to just get away. Duaselina has respawned. Scoop continuing to do a lot of damage here, but now the re-engage can come through. The rocket jump out to safety will be big, and there comes the showstopper as well. Deadly Flourish landing it onto Scoop. Duaselina immediately goes down, and Scoop gets the reset and is able to jump away. Porsche, now the next target, a 900 damage crit coming out from Deep Learning off the 4th shot, and he will be the sacrificial set going down here eventually to Deep Learning. And finally, Area of Effect Ginger Turmeric get one back, as it will be the 2 inhibitors going down for the side of AGT. Jake's Kittens using the Hextech portals. Ebron very happy about that one as a getaway to safety while picking up the Drake.
Really good Berserk on the back end right there, and they don't bravely venture into the unknown with the portals on the side of AoE Ginger Turmeric, so the play will end. You mentioned this teleport here from Porsche, and
Oh,
it's
it
just
wasn't even
really
a
brutal. Also,
walk?
it's all the way up on the left of the screen right here. But Shrimps, he's completely focused on just damaging Set, and it diverts his attention away from everybody else and just causes so much havoc. And then the flash as well. It's really, really clean stuff from Jake's Kittens. They completely scatter everybody. That's exactly what they need against a comp like this.
And it's so hard to kind of break
boy.
the front line of Jake's Kittens as well. You know, you see the force of nature onto Porsche, and now Keel might be in a bit of trouble as well. Scooped, getting lived up here with that Renata W. Not enough to try to chase down this AGT jungler. Baron is up for Jake's Kittens. It looks like Aaron wants to try to take this one as well.
They don't have any vision on the Baron here for AoE Ginger Turmeric. Now they do. They know this is a half HP. I just don't think there's anything they can do about it. Maybe a Xerath ultimate can get in there, but no, he's not even going to try it. Full Baron secure for Jake's Kittens. That's their 2nd one of the game. And, you know, Grapes, speaking of 2 games, this could just be the 2-game series ending right now.
Yeah, it might very much be. Max range charm coming in from Ryoma to lock down Keel. Not enough to take him down, but he does burn the Cyclone, so a very crucial team fight ability not available on this remaining siege. Jake's Kittens not even really going for the resets, just deciding that they can try to end the game right here and right now. Deep Learning already getting locked in by that Swirl Seed. Shrimps and the rest have to try to do something. Engage begun by Prismal. They're going to lock up the Renata Glass. Berserk doesn't do too much as yet, but Scoop instantly deletes the like of Duo Selena. Ryoma in the backside trying to get a flank off. Nice damage coming out from the Needlework of Existence, but there comes the Everfrost. Deep Learning has the Gale Force away. Keel picks up the kill onto Ryoma, and now Porsche trying to chase Captain Shrimps, doing the zoning, and somehow Jake's Kittens are not dying. That is a double kill going over to Scoop, and it might be another as well. Still, everybody alive except for 2 on the likes of Jake's. There goes the kill. Captain Shrimps coming in with a poke. Existence returning as well from the fountain. And somehow Ginger Turmeric stay alive, but it looks so good, and somehow Scoop lives through it all.
That was really, really close there, but the game was saved again by Captain Shrimps himself. Ryoma tried desperately to make sure that he couldn't do anything, but everybody was there to make sure that Captain Shrimps was alive and comfortable on the Xerath with all of his range. That's exactly what we saw in the end, and Ryoma died trying desperately to just end the game right there with their Baron, which they do still have, but it's going to be really difficult now that they didn't get that third inhibitor at least.
Yeah, I was surprised that third inhibitor didn't go down. You see Porsche kind of hovering around, trying to give the Baron buff over to some of the minions to help it finish the job, but it's still, yeah, you don't get the double supers flowing in just yet, although it is a very vulnerable inhibitor up in the top side of the map. But Area of Effect Ginger Turmeric still staying alive. They're still able to farm up these super minions that are going to be pushed into their base. But because of that, it does allow Jake's Kittens to get heavy priority around the map. They're still up about 6,000 gold, and they will still be able to push these waves in and continue the siege.
If AOE Ginger Turmeric win this game, then the Captain Shrimps is the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying. This is quite the performance from him to actually keep everyone back alive. He's actually surviving so many of these exchanges that are so difficult to live. Like there's 2 effective assassins going against him directly for him too, with the Tristana and the Ahri, and he's lived just about every single time. Super impressive stuff from him, but they're still at this massive deficit. It's still going to take a lot for them to actually win, and I'm not sure if they can do it from here.
There's the inhibitor cracked open. It is now 3 down for the side of Area Effect Ginger Turmeric. Baron buff up for 9 more seconds. Massive Everfrost coming out from Ryoma, but he might be punished. Big Berserk coming out from Prismal as well, as that is the haymaker that might secure the win for Jake's Kittens. A double kill for Porsche, another kill onto Deep Learning as well. Shrimps in the fountain. Can he save the game in the 1v4? I don't think he'll be able to. Scoop doing so much damage. The Buster Shot as well, nearly taking him down, and that might be it. A 2-0 for Jake's Kittens is welcome our first team into the top 8.
Oh no, they tried to take it for Prismal, but he goes down a 5th time. But so does the Nexus for AOE Ginger Turmeric. It's a 2-0 count a day, Grapes. We've still yet to have a seeding upset, and Jake's Kittens just locked themselves in for the playoffs.
Yeah, congratulations to Jake's Kittens. They looked very, very good against a team that we were really hyped on here, Smack. Maybe me a little bit more than you in terms of our predictions, but they looked very, very good all throughout the game. Whether it was the early game with Aaron setting up really great ganks, Scooped and Prismal playing phenomenally as well, and then Porsche and Ryoma coming up huge in some of these late game team fights. Just looks like a very cohesive team through and through.
You know what, I'm going to say it. That's a coach gap right there. Elton XT Mock, the best coach of all time. He has yet to lose a game in the group stage. That's a big resume boost right there. Shout out Elton. I love that
Just
guy.
a man of many skills. You know, being a caster, then for production, then to managing social media. Now here, Jake's Kittens doing some pretty good stuff with the 2-0. For Area of Effect Ginger Turmeric, I saw some good stuff out of them, I believe. You know, the compositions maybe got punished a little bit heavily, especially in that game number 1, but I mean, Shrimp's still performing very well in the Xerath. I think Deep Learning had a much better game too on the Jhin. And, you know, coming into this next matchup, they will have to face up against third party, and I think that's going to be a pretty explosive series, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we're getting that matchup too, because that's not the one that we had before. It was AOE Ginger Turmeric versus Team Fish Taco, which actually makes me wrong. There was a seeding upset. Third party got a seeding upset before, so they were the first ones to do it. Congratulations to third party. They now will be playing against AOE Ginger Turmeric, and I think there's a lot of tape on both of these teams, but specifically for AOE GT, to show that they really are playing a very similar style in a lot of these games. They're playing for the siege, for this poke, and you know, that's something that I always love to watch out for in these games that you have a lot of time to prep for. So that's going to be a really good series next week.
Yeah, that's the question. What can third party do to try to respond? Because it feels like, you know, AOE GT, that you kind of know what they're going to throw at you when it comes to the draft and it comes to the players. And it's up to Taki and the rest of 3P to try and respond. Try to find up something to earn themselves a spot as, I believe, the 15 seed up into the quarterfinals. But that's it for us here on the Caster Dex Max. Again, a pleasure casting alongside you to cover some of these games. We're going to send it to a short break before Janiro has got some interviews.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We got scooped for the interview here today. Winners of the Kittens versus Ginger and Turmeric match. Congratulations, guys, on the win. How are you feeling after that one?
Feeling pretty good. Good stuff.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. So I'm going to ask the first question, which is, Jake's Kittens. Explain the name. I voted for you guys because I really liked the name. So where's it coming from?
Well, we needed a name because we made the team last minute. And we're all Jake's Kittens, so that's where the name happens.
Okay, we're not gonna elaborate on that one, but let's talk about the draft specifically, especially for that first game. It looked really good. Second game was a little questionable with the fact that you guys were getting caught out quite a bit. They had a lot of long range. You guys were struggling as well, but then you managed to bring it back. So talk us through the draft process. Like, how do you guys decide that, yeah, this is how we're gonna be going to play this game?
Well, we had the Triss flex pick until 5, and we wanted to put it mid, but last second I really wanted it because none of the ADs looked like pretty good that game. So we just last second picked Triss and had Ari go mid.
Yeah, it worked out in your favor. And with Tristana pick specifically, you played quite aggressively into the Nautilus. You felt very comfortable pushing up and testing your limits. Was this because you felt like you had that backup from your team coming through? We saw it as you go for that aggressive play on mid. Your team is cleaning up towards Drake. Or is it just you're testing your own limits? You're pushing for as far as you possibly can?
Well, Prismo's in my ear screaming, jump in, I have Renata W. So I'm just listening to the call, and I'm just flying in there and just trying to get a reset.
Definitely seems to be working out for you guys. That communication, you said that you build the team quite last minute. Is it because you guys are comfortable playing with each other outside of just a team environment, or did you guys practice quite a lot coming into this? Because you guys are undefeated.
Well, we made the team last minute, and actually we only scrimmed once, and it was against this team. And we got 3-0'd. So, yeah, it was pretty last minute. I can't say why, but it just happened like that. And yeah, that's how we're rolling. No scrims. Just coming to match days and just smurfing.
Well, you guys are doing incredibly well so far. Is there anything you feel like you really want to improve on as a team? And if so, how are you planning to do that?
Improve on maybe cleaner games. We're kind of drawing the games out to like 30 minutes, so if we can like maybe make them FF15, because amateur is pretty bad, that'd be pretty good, especially with 2 academy players. So
and how are you planning to do that?
Probably go 10-0 bot lane, dive their tier 2, you know, jungle combat.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like a good strategy coming into this. So before we close out this interview, do you happen to have any final shoutouts that you want to share?
Shout out Prismo. He's really good at sport, and he's just helping me improve on ADC a lot, giving me his knowledge. So happy to play with him. Yeah,
my boy Prismo coming in clutch. Those support players, you guys are going appreciated this evening. Every single team is giving a shout out to those support players. But thank you so much for the time for the interview. And again, congratulations on that win. Looking forward to seeing more for you guys in the future. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, whatever the time zone is. Thank you. Well, that was quite an interesting interview coming through with the Jake's Kittens AD carry. Veteran, the Tristana pick was a flex pick. You called it yourself once we were, in the analyst decks. You said, yes, the Tristana coming through. It can go mid, it can go bot lane, and obviously that was their initial idea for it to be going mid, eventually getting picked up by the AD carry instead. How happy are you with that Tristana performance coming through?
I mean, I really like Scooped. I think he is a really good team fighter, and what I really liked from this series is that they actually played very heavily to him in the early phases. And yes, against AOE, that is how you want to play. You want to play against their bot lane, but I hope that this opens up an expanded set of options for Jake's Kittens, and that they enable this rookie AD carry that they have further along in the tournament. I think he's really good. And, I give a lot of praise to Prismal, but I'm glad that they haven't overlooked this guy and they see the potential he has.
ISO, Jake's Kittens mentioned themselves. They scrimmed Ginger Turmeric beforehand. They got 3-0, so this is actually quite an incredible feat for them to be coming into this today. And just 2-0, clean sweep coming through. The games, the first one specifically, it was very, very quick. The second one, maybe not as quick as the first one, but still something that they really got to build up that momentum. They got to snowball. A couple of roadblocks in the way, but, that does happen in some game of League of Legends. Are you happy with their performance? And is there anything that you really want to highlight, or maybe any specific player that you think has genuinely pulled their weight this game?
Well, I think it's a bit of a bot gap in this game. Scoop was going a little hard in most of these fights. Tristana jumping all around, but also, Prismal's part of the bot lane. We did get to see a bit of a fancy from him. Dodging Xerath ultimates, just without using flash, except for his strange little hex tech gate into 4 people. That was one of his only mistakes in the game. But yeah, I think it's a great performance from Jake's Kittens bot lane.
And in both games, he didn't play like your traditional tank engagers, and he had so much map presence around the map because he just knows the timings, and he was even able to make plays on that, like securing the kill on Captain Shrimp early on.
Yeah.
So it just shows that this is a guy who understands the fundamentals of the game, and once you have that, you can more or less make any champion work.
Yeah, let's have a look at the first replay coming through Veteran, where it was very early on in the game, but that still really presented that turning point where not only were they able to get the Herald, they also got the kill.
Yeah, for sure. So GeoKing actually got a really, really nice engage off at the start here, and Air1 looks like he's going down, but Renata saves and they're able to turn it onto kill. This gives them numbers advantage for the rest as Air1 no longer goes down. GeoKing just trying to play Disruption on Wyoma in the backline to try to save Shrimp. He ends up giving his life for it, and now all they can realistically do is retreat, but full river control is now being achieved for Jake's Kittens. They're able to pick up the Herald, and despite the jumping at the end there, that would be the first big turning point of the game. That mid tower took ages to go down, but they owned the side lanes.
Yeah, and Iso, you said it yourself, a lot of aggressive plays coming through from Scooped on the Tristana. We have the second clip coming up right now where that's exactly what he's doing, and it works out in their favor.
Yeah, we'll just wait for that clip to show up here. But, on that previous clip, I wanted to mention, Renata is not as fast on the map, and she was still there at the play. And here again, Prismal has no fear. He is going in ready to scout for his team and frontline. And he's playing frontline Renata, and somehow it manages to work out. But Scooped, you can see at the top of the fight here, kills Nautilus, and then we'll just be jumping in to join the rest of his team. Of course, blowing the Xerath flash. It's at this point, it's kind of doomed for Ginger Turmeric. They've lost all of their frontline defenses, and these characters can round all over the Xerath and the Jhin. How do you stop Ahri with her 5 dashes, Tristana with her dash resets?
Yep.
Always respect
stuff.
Always respect a support that isn't afraid to die. All right, especially if you're gonna take at least 3 of you out with him. All right, hats off to Prismal there.
Well, myself and Iso, we predicted that Jake's Kittens were going to win, and we were actually correct. Veteran, unfortunately, you're going to be going home tonight with not a single correct prediction. Let's have a look at the casters' predictions themselves. Let's see if there is anyone that's really standing out in regards of whether or not they were correct with these predictions, specifically for that first game we had today with CLG Faith versus 300. I don't think that anyone really expected them to be walking away with it, obviously, except me, because, why not? Looking at these predictions specifically, a lot of people did vote for Jake's Kittens, so Fox actually as well went for CLG. So, we just got that thing going on. We're on the same wave, we know exactly who's going to be walking away. But I want to ask, has this lived up to expectations? When we're going to be looking at these predictions, I want to say the final game, yes, it definitely did. Majority of the talent went for Jake's Kittens. First game, maybe a little bit of an upset. We kind of already dove into that as well. So all in all, I think today's games have shown one thing, and that is that everybody can be wrong sometimes. But also, you can be right as well. You know, it's either way. So,
Or just wrong 100% of the time. You know?
Or
Like,
just-
I break
or
the
just-
mold there. I all in. Alright? Geo Kingdom will rise again, people. Alright? You underestimate it now, but that's when it strikes back and actually locks in the Sona for a change. You know?
Well, we got some more games happening tomorrow, so let's look at that schedule as well. We're going to be starting off with Evil Genius Prodigies versus Taco Gaming. Then we got 100 Thieves next versus Maryville University here on the Academy channel. Don't forget to be checking out the Paths to LCS channel as well, because there's some bangers happening there on too as well. But all in all, I think that tomorrow we're all going to have another opportunity to potentially be right or wrong with our predictions. So thank you everybody very much for watching today's stream. Iser, any final remarks you want to give out before we close off?
Yeah, for tomorrow's games, you might be wanting to watch the Academy channel, but some banger teams on the secondary stream, particularly Team Pending, and most importantly, the DK crew and their Banana Slammas.
Okay, well, absolutely love that. You know, veterans, this is the end of the broadcast. You yourself are also going to be given an opportunity to say thank you, or, you know, any final shout-outs that you want to give.
Shout outs to all of the teams that were able to make me 100% wrong, especially the teams that were able to win. Congratulations to you, and especially CLG. They actually look like such a changed team. So congrats to them and their continued development. Shout outs to Scooped. You did so well.
Well, shout out to production, and thank you so much as well to our sponsors for making this absolutely possible. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them, so we really want to say thank you to that. Otherwise, you know, this show would not be happening. That's it for us. You know, thank you, HyperX, thank you, Zoe, thank you, Atlantic, but that's it for us for this evening. We're going to be back tomorrow with some more incredible League of Legends coming your way. Have an incredible evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are located on this globe, and see you guys tomorrow.